Yeah, I don't even know why you're
after we discussed this for 20 something minutes. My question would be, make a statement, like a forward-looking statement of what you think is going to happen and the metrics that can be tracked to see whether or not you're true. It's true or not, because ultimately that's what it comes down to, right? We're talking about a lot of theoreticals, but what do you think? Because having said everything and looking at all sides, just make a statement like, this is what I think is going to happen, and these are the metrics that we can track to see whether or not that's on course or not.
That's for
so
KRIS?
I would say office vacancy rates, right? So I think
what do you think is going to happen first? What do you think?
I think three things are going to happen. Number one is you're going to see construction stop. So if you're trying to build a new building, you will never get financing for it. I don't think that that's ever going to happen, right? So right now you're going to have supply lock, right? If you say like, hey, I want to build a commercial building anywhere, lenders are going to look at you and say, go fuck yourself. That's not happening. So you're right there, your existing supply. So you have little to no growth in terms of commercial going up, right? You have older buildings that you have to do something with, right? If the cost of maintaining the building is too much, people are just going to tear it down and do something else with it. So I'm not talking about New York City, because it's really probably hard to tear a building down and do X, Y, and Z with it. But if you're in the middle of, let's say, like other parts of the country, and you have an office building that's literally 40, 50 years old, you really can't lease it out, you can't do anything with it, the cost of maintenance is too high, it'll just go unused and it'll eventually be torn down. And that's about it. So once again, that's going to take supply off of the market once again. The next thing is, of course, the office to residential conversion. There are certain cities that are actively promoting this, because even from a city perspective, what's happening is these office buildings provided a huge revenue base for these for the local property taxes. So if these local cities lose out on those buildings, and the people that are coming into them, that's huge for them. So a lot of them are actually working to rezone their existing their laws to allow for more mixed use residential buildings. Because one of the reasons why you don't see as much residential construction in New York City is because there were laws put in place a long time ago saying you could only use this zone to build offices, and that's it. Like you couldn't go past a certain height and build a residential property there. Whereas now people are more like, hey, listen, we need to have a tax base, otherwise the city is going to end up going bankrupt. So a lot of changes legislatively around zoning are starting to take effect. There's a lot of places.
How long does that take, KRIS, in New York City?
Well, believe it or not,
in New York City?
It's one of those things that the city is actually moving on really fast right now. Both Mayor Adams and Governor Hochul have been vocal supporters of this, and they're just working with the local city councils to get it done.
But realistically,
one of the things that sucks about New York City
to change my sink takes me a month and a half permit to get.
Right, but see, here's the thing.
New York City.
But here's the thing: you're a small town guy. You're talking about
New York City, Brooklyn. Go ahead,
yeah.
Change your.
No, that's fine.
You're to do your sink.
Vitaly, you and I both know that there's highways and then there's like dirt roads.
Yeah,
we are on the
pay
dirt
off
roads.
Somebody.
Yeah, we're on the dirt roads when we try to get permitting to do anything, right? These developers, they've got lanes of people that go right in and they get a permit like that, right? So I wouldn't say that's a bigger thing. The thing with New York City right now is because they're desperate for cash. Their last windfall, I think COVID, this work from home thing cost them almost $12 billion in revenue. Because remember, the city collects so much money in revenue from all these buildings and plus all the income tax that comes in. So if you don't have a workforce that's there physically on site, that's not money that the city can get out of you. So of course, the city is more likely to actually make some fundamental changes to allow for more development around the city. So yeah, just from that perspective, I think a lot of commercial real estate is going to have to be very city and site specific, because trying to judge New York City by the same standards that you would judge San Francisco is a whole different thing. Like San Francisco has a very unique situation where there's a lot of tech workers and stuff. In New York City, we have all sorts of industries that are with us, right? Whether it be fashion, IT, commercial.
All right, we gotta move on.
Yeah, what I'm looking for is a thesis. The next few months, I believe, is bullish on this industry for this reason, or bearish for this reason.
And KRIS, you have 30 seconds because it's been 32 minutes. We have to move on.
I would say
Well, first of all, We don't
Yeah.
have to move on anywhere. This is
No,
our
no.
pod, buddy.
Okay, hold on.
If
You
we
don't
all wanna talk
understand the
real
job of
estate-
a moderator,
If we
okay?
all want to talk real estate and people are happy and no one's saying they're enjoying the
Yes,
conversation.
but in a podcast, you
All right,
keep
Chris,
going.
Go
And
ahead.
after 33 minutes,
Yeah.
people are like, all right, these guys have been
Well, we
talking real estate
just
for enough
just
time.
want
We
a
got to move on.
conclusion. We can pick up the conversation later, but there should be a conclusion that we're building towards, right? A thesis you're building towards.
Okay, so Chris, there's your 30
That's
seconds.
what I'm
thesis
part of.
on the next couple
All
months.
right, so just the thesis
Yeah,
on
thank you, Jay Cal.
SLG,
Thanks a lot, Jay Cal.
SLG, Vornado, a lot of the bigger players. I think what we're going to see is consolidation. I think that there are definitely going to be defaults on some of the buildings that they have that are Class B and Class C. So basically, both companies are just going to say, listen, we'll take the equity loss that we have on the building. Here's the keys back, Mr. Bank. Enjoy yourself. Do whatever you want with it. And they'll walk away. They'll keep their high income properties and they'll be fine. Like, I don't think that there's any risk of bankruptcy on their part at all. I think they're going to be just fine. The question is going to be around growth. Like, how are they going to be able to grow out of this? You know, are the management teams able to weather the storm in the short term and reinvent themselves and reinvent their business to be something much, much bigger than what it is? So I think right now I would take a very neutral position on SLG and Vornado. I want to see what the city does. If the city ends up rezoning, which is the biggest hurdle right now, where you're allowed to rezone certain parts of the city. And not to mention, not only do you get to rezone, but you also get tax abatements. That's the fight that right now is being had in Albany. So I don't want to take too much time, but
Just like literally, I think the next few
Dude,
months.
don't
are gonna
worry.
be
We know your
bullish,
30 seconds
but
is like
crazy.
6
It's
minutes.
just serious. Like,
yeah, but
it's
it's a much more nuanced. It's a much more nuanced.
I've never heard this guy
Yeah.
talk for 30 seconds on
Yeah.
anything. First of
but
all,
it's
I
a
thought-
And that's why I have to cut off. I hate cutting
No,
him off, but Chris
but here's the
knows,
thing,
like,
but
I
here's
have
the
to cut
thing,
him off.
One of the
it has
things
to
that
be able to be distilled down to a very simple.
Bro,
idea.
Carlos, he just said it. He said, "Don't buy the fucking real estate stocks."
Well,
That's
see,
it.
the thing is, remember like 3 months ago, saying the same thing. I was saying the same thing. Chris is like, no, SLG is the fucking shit. All of a sudden, SLG is not the shit. Okay. My point is, this
data
real
changes
estate-
things, right?
yeah,
That's fine to change things. I'm glad he admits it because this real estate thing, my thesis, okay, residential real estate still doing fine. I think it'll be okay. Not much of a hit, especially around New York City, New Jersey. I don't see it taking a hit. In terms of the commercial, I see a big problem there. I see the rates increasing now as I'm just reading more in terms of vacancy rates. I see my own people that I go to work with are killing their leases, removing them. I just had a tenant kill a lease, by the way, a couple of months ago too. If tenants are doing it for me, they're definitely going to do it to save millions of dollars as opposed to thousands of dollars. So SLG is not a great investment, in my opinion. Is it a good stock in 10 years, 5 years? Yes. I think it's not going anywhere. So I think in terms of dividend play, this kind of perfect example to put it in your dividend portfolio, forget about it. But in terms of a massive upside, like you were talking about, like 2, 3, 4, 5x, no way. This is years.
And
and
well,
years
to
away.
to be fair, he said that $80 price target was in 5 years. I mean, Chris was very vocal
Yeah.
about
Okay,
that.
that's
He said the
possible. 5
dividend
years
yield
from
was
now.
exciting in the short
yeah,
term.
because it's still a 15% dividend yield on it too. But even the dividend yield is, remember, always up in the air because if let's say they don't get the leases that they need in order to support the dividend, of course they're going to have to trim some of it back, right? So
Correct.
you can't say 100% that the dividend will always be there. The company will always try to keep that dividend there, but
They're probably
sometimes
gonna-
you have
they're
to
gonna-
take
they're
the
gonna knock it
short-term
off.
losses.
Yeah, it's gonna get lowered.
Yeah. So this is one of the reasons why I would say in this. And here's the thing, guys. I try to distill down as much as I can, but some of this stuff is so fucking complicated, man. It's not.
I know why Vitaly's laughing.
It's so
Chris,
fucking
Chris,
complicated.
literally,
man.
you just have to
Yeah.
learn when, like, you have a trillion things to say, which is why you're like the best speaker on this pod. But sometimes you gotta be like, all right, that's just done. That's just it. And we
Boom!
can-
I got it out in 30 seconds, dude.
Yeah,
But I
you have
love
to-
that you have so much to
it's
say
about
because
distilling.
like, bro,
It's like building off of it. You can make a blank statement, a blanket statement, or an
and you
initial
can
statement,
keep
and then
fucking
build
going.
off of it. But at
This
a
is
certain
why on
point, it's
Friday-
gotta coalesce to a.
This is why on Thursday when you two ditched us and me and Chris had to hold down the pod, Chris was great. He just kept talking and talking.
Oh my god, I fell asleep.
No, we cracked 300 on that pod, and ladies and gentlemen, at timestamp 37 minutes 28 seconds, for the 8th fucking day in a row. Okay,
Oh.
8 days.
Oh my god.
327 people. We cracked 300.
Did you mail the other one? Who won that?
No,
Primordial Light.
I'm gonna send it
3x
from Amazon.
3x
You
in
mailed it
5
up?
years is a great return. If you get that from this company, congratulations. You might have to wait longer than that. These are just like pie in the sky numbers, in my opinion.
Thank you
All
for
right,
300 on a Sunday night. Let me give a shout out to this super chat. Finding this pod feels more valuable than my college degree. Feel obligated to donate. Also got my dad hooked, and now we have something to talk about. That's so
nice.
cool that
Oh,
you and
that's
your dad.
cool. That's really
Tomorrow
nice.
morning,
Yeah.
him and his dad is
Yes.
like, these motherfuckers can't move from a topic. Chris is talking for 30 minutes. Oh, it's gonna be great.
That's what makes it fun. Everybody, hit like and subscribe. I see only have 59 likes. Thank you, Futbucker, for pointing that out. Please, everyone hit like and subscribe. Follow our tweets, whatever.
One more thing. So one more plug, and then we're moving on to the next topic. We started a new channel. Okay, I just put it in the chat. I'm pinning it right now. It's called Finance Junkies. This will inevitably be the channel. I don't know if it's a couple months from now, 3 months, 4 months, maybe 1 month from now, where we stream. It will not stay on my channel forever. This stream, we don't want to keep it on my channel. We want to keep it to a channel we all have access to, all 4 of us. We just need to build
finally
that
going
up.
to share some of the money.
Finally gonna share some of the
By the way,
money.
that's a good question by Joshua. You should put it up. Let's put this up for a second.
Wait, can I explain the,
All right.
the plug real quick?
All
So
right, yes, I'm sorry.
please subscribe to that channel. What that channel is going to be is clips. So you know how we have timestamps? We have like 5 different topics. This one's going to be like 3 different topics for today. All of those will be clips. So like if you look at the Lex Friedman podcast, they have like a 3-hour shit, and then he has like 30 clips. It's going to be kind of like that, all with their unique thumbnails and stuff like that. So if you don't want to get all the pod, you can get some of those clips. And we need to build that up to 1,000 subs as soon as possible. So please sub to that.
There's 17
channel.
subs right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
So Get,
guys,
get in early.
Everybody
Really? We had
sub right now.
17? We had
We have-
0 2 seconds ago. That's
17.
sub
I'm
right
one
now.
of them. So
Yeah, I'm one of them.
I gotta
All right, we have
be subbing there
16.
too.
Oh man, we have 12 subs.
No,
We have
post
18.
the
We have
link
a
again.
little more than a baseball team.
Can you post the link again?
It's pinned. It's pinned right now. It's the top thing that's pinned.
Can you put it on the? Can you put it in our private chat too, so I can go to it?
Yeah. Let me put it there. So please subscribe to that one. Don't ask me what happened to the last one that had 5,000 subs. That's a story for another day. Maybe
That's a
Alright.
story for our inevitable subscribers.
That's a story for another day.